This is the moment when a dad cat shows just how brave he is after seeing a shark swimming with his little kittens. The dad was fishing for some food when suddenly a shark came out of nowhere to steal his dinner. But luckily, this dad wasn't afraid to stand up to the shark, even though it was much bigger than him, and the shark had already killed one of his kittens. This dad was determined to protect his family at all costs, so he did something incredible. But unfortunately, this story has a pretty sad ending, so make sure to stay tuned until the very end. It was just an ordinary day at the beach for our hero. He was simply trying to find some fish to eat when suddenly he felt something strange in the water. When he looked over, he saw that there were some dangerous sharks nearby. But our hero wasn't afraid. Instead, he was determined to protect his little ones. That's because he was a father cat who lived with 5 of his kittens. Unfortunately, one of his kittens got separated from the group and fell into the water. And now, these sharks were swimming closer and closer towards it. Our hero knew he had to act fast, so he immediately jumped into the water. When the other cats saw what was happening, they all started yelling at our hero, telling him that he was going to be the death of them all. But he didn't listen. Instead, he was only focused on saving his kitten. Luckily, he managed to grab onto his little one before it was too late. But when he came back to the surface, he saw that there were more sharks swimming towards him. And it was at this moment that things took a turn for the worst. One of the sharks got a hold of one of the kittens, and although our hero tried his best, he couldn't save it. This made him extremely sad, but he knew that he had to get the rest of his kittens to safety, so he swam as fast as he could. When he came out of the water, the rest of his cat family was waiting for him. They were all shocked to see that he had saved as many kittens as he could, and they all started thanking him for being such a good father. But this is when our hero noticed that one of the kittens that he brought out of the water was missing. It turned out that she had fallen back into the water, and when our hero went back to look for her, he saw that the same shark that had taken her was swimming closer and closer. Our hero knew that if he didn't do something, then the shark would take his last kitten away from him, so he immediately jumped into the water again. As soon as the shark saw our hero, it became extremely angry. The two stared each other down for a moment, but eventually, our hero made the first move. He attacked the shark and scratched it as hard as he could. Even though the shark was much bigger than him, our hero didn't give up. He kept attacking it until it let go of his kitten. Once the shark realized that it had lost, it immediately started to swim away. At this point, our hero thought that he had won, so he started swimming back to shore with his kitten. But the shark suddenly changed directions and started heading right towards our hero. It was obvious that the shark wanted revenge. Even though our hero was a pretty big cat, the shark was still much larger than him. But despite this, our hero stood his ground. He knew that he had to protect his kitten at all costs. But the shark had already gotten pretty close to our hero, and it used its tail to hit him. This made our hero lose his balance, and the next thing he knew, the shark was biting down on him. It seemed like everything was over, but our hero still held on to his kitten. Even though he was being bitten by the shark, he refused to let go of his little one. And this is when the most amazing thing happened. The kitten suddenly bit down on the shark's nose. This gave our hero enough time to get away, but unfortunately, he had gotten seriously injured. When he came back to the shore, the other cats were waiting for him. They were shocked to see that their friend had come back with one less kitten, and they immediately asked him where the others were. Our hero sadly explained what had happened. He told them that one of the kittens had been taken by a shark, and that another one had sacrificed itself to save him and his other kittens. The other cats were deeply saddened by this news, but they also admired the bravery of the young kitten. They all agreed that this was a true act of heroism and that the kitten should be honored for its bravery. They knew that the father cat was probably feeling guilty for not being able to save all of his kittens, but they also knew that he had done his best. At this point, the father cat was very scared about what would happen next. He had lost two of his kittens, and he was worried that the sharks would come back and take the rest of them away from him. The other cats could tell that their friend was scared, so they did their best to comfort him. They told him that he had done everything right and that he shouldn't blame himself for what had happened. As the days went by, the pain from his wounds started to fade away, but the sadness of losing two of his kittens never went away. This made him even more determined to protect the rest of his family, so he started training them and teaching them how to hunt and fight. He knew that they would need to be strong if they wanted to survive in the wild. Our hero really wanted to keep his kittens safe, so he taught them how to defend themselves against predators. But the truth is, no matter how well he trained them, his kittens would never be able to defeat a shark. And as the years passed, our hero got older and older. He had managed to keep his kittens safe for as long as he could, but eventually it would happen. One of the sharks would come back and try to take one of his kittens away. And this is exactly what happened one night when our hero was sleeping. A shark snuck up on one of his kittens and tried to take it away. Our hero immediately woke up and started yelling at the shark. He knew that his kittens were all grown up, but he still worried about their safety. The shark didn't want to mess around with the dad, so it swam away. But our hero knew that this wouldn't be the last time, and he was right. A few months later, the same shark came back and tried to attack one of his daughters. This time, our hero knew that he had to do something. He had spent years teaching his kittens how to fight, but he didn't know if they would be able to defeat a shark. Luckily, one of his sons stepped in front of the shark and started fighting back. The other cats were watching in suspense, not knowing what would happen next. Would their friend be able to save his daughter, or would the shark take her away? At that moment, our hero knew that there was nothing he could do to help. All he could do was watch and hope for the best. As the battle continued, our hero's son started to lose the fight. The shark was much bigger than him, and it wouldn't be long before he was defeated. Suddenly, our hero's daughter jumped into the water. She knew that she had to do something to help her brother, so she started attacking the shark as well. This gave our hero's son enough time to recover, and together they were able to defeat the shark. Our hero was so proud of his children. They had shown incredible bravery and strength, and he knew that they would be able to survive on their own. Even though he was getting old, he knew that it was time to let go and let his children take care of themselves. As the sun began to set, our hero gathered his family close. He knew that this was goodbye, and he wanted to make sure that they knew how much he loved them. With a heavy heart, our hero closed his eyes for the last time. He had lived a long and happy life, and he was ready to move on to the next adventure. As the other cats watched their father pass away, they couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. He had been the best dad a cat could ask for, and they knew that he would be watching over them always. Even though they were sad to say goodbye, they knew that he was in a better place now. From that day on, the other cats carried on their father's legacy. They protected each other and the ones they loved, and they never forgot the bravery that their father had shown them.